Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC, as we are still in WrestleMania 7, live to tape watch along here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel for Chaos Corner. I'm doing as many WrestleMania reviews as I can leading into WrestleMania 40 next month. You guys aren't going to want to miss this one. We just came out at an unbelievable matchup, a little hokey near the end. The Ultimate Warrior going over on the Macho King, Macho Man Randy Savage with Queen Sherry. And what you didn't see or hear about at the end, unless you watched it live or went back, and we're doing it old school here. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. 1991, WrestleMania 7, during the war in the Persian Gulf. You guys remember that? Sergeant Slaughter and his turn. And again, we're listening to Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon right now that are ringside, along with the G.O.C. That's me. We just saw Macho Man get beat down by the Ultimate Warrior at the end. He was with Queen Sherry, the Macho King, and out of nowhere, after the Warrior pinned the Macho Man, standing above him, here comes Miss Elizabeth out of nowhere and slapped the shit out of Queen Sherry. And we had the reuniting and getting back together at WrestleMania 7 here in March 1991 of Miss Elizabeth and the Macho Man Randy Savage. That's why I picked out WrestleMania 7 instead of doing it back to back to back. I already did WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3, and skipped it to WrestleMania 7 because of the historical significance. Not only was it during the Persian Gulf War, not only was it Slaughter and Hogan, but it was the last televised match of the Hart Foundation as they lost the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team titles. It was the debut of The Undertaker and his WrestleMania streak here on WrestleMania 7. And of course, the reuniting, storyline or not, of Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. We have a lot of things going on here. Thank you guys for being here. I can't thank you enough. This is part 3. So go back and check out part 1 and part 2. They're both about less than an hour. That's the why I'm breaking them up. You're not going to do a full 180-minute stream to keep you guys here. I wouldn't do that to you. So let's go back to the old board ops. We have some big matches coming up. Stick with me. I think there were 14 or 15 total matches here on WrestleMania 7 from Los Angeles, California, with over 16,000 fans. So stand by. You're going to have to look at my dome piece for a second. Check out the Oakleys, as badass as they are. And again, drop an elbow on that like button, subscribe, share this out, leave a comment. I can't thank you guys enough for being here. My motivation, my stress reliever in this day and age, and hopefully for you guys too. That's what we're doing here. That's what we want to do. So stand by, don't go anywhere. Grab a snack and a beverage. We've been here for, listen, we're coming up onto, the third hour as we look at Mr. Fuji and Demolition backstage. We got some big matches coming up. So I don't want you guys to go anywhere. This is part 3 of WrestleMania 7. Now, if I'm not mistaken, before I hit the old fast forward here on the old board op, Demolition has quite the matchup here tonight. Let me just check out the card. We already went down what we've seen. We saw the Ultimate Warrior beat Macho Man Randy Savage. We saw the Hart Foundation lose the WWF Tag Team titles to the Nasty Boys. We saw Jake the Snake Roberts defeat the model Rick Martel in a blindfold match. We saw The Undertaker in his debut at WrestleMania beat Superfly Jimmy Snuka. We did see the British Bulldog go over on the Warlord. We saw the Rockers defeat the Barbarian and Haku. So we still have some matches left to go. So don't go anywhere, man. Stand by. Bear with me. Bear with the G.O.C. That's me. And there's the two Japanese wrestlers, Tenryu and Kitao. I believe they will be making their way against Demolition as we interview Jake the Snake with Damien. I haven't forgot, you son of a bitch, Jake, for throwing that snake on me. I haven't forgot. And here comes Mr. Fuji and Demolition. But it's not Axe and Smash. It's Axe and Crush against Tenryu and Kitao in a tag team matchup as Demolition starts off with the big crush. And remember, 3 members of, I think there might have even been 4 members of Demolition. Axe, Smash, Crush. I'm trying to think if there was a 4th one. Again, my mind is like a lazy Susan. It'll come back around. As Katow takes over on Demolition, an unbelievable international tag team matchup to have 2 legendary superstars as Katow and Tenryu in the WWF at this point was really something for, and this is when Japanese wrestlers were working super strong style and doing it the right way. And a lot of people talk a lot of shit about Demolition being a cheap ripoff of the Road Warriors, so on and so forth. Say what you want about Demolition, especially Axe and Smash. They made their way. They were a solid tag team. And again, as the chains fall off here at Chaos Corner, I told you about the tag team division of these companies back in the days, no matter what territory, whether it was AWA, WCW, Jim Crockett Promotions, the NWA, WWF, Georgia, Florida, the Carolinas, Mid-Atlantic, Pacific Northwest. It didn't matter where you were. Deep South, Canada, tag team wrestling was prioritized. It really was. And managers, old school managers were prioritized. And you see the depth of the division of pro wrestling back then as compared to now. It's just much different. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of different sizes, but it was a totally different product. And again, I give you the ugly as well because I wasn't crazy about the cartoon characters. And what they did there in the early 90s was a little slow for both organizations and the territories, which were folding. So that's where we are. WrestleMania 7 fans. I hope you're enjoying this live to tape watch along because I know that I am. Demolition taking it to Katow and Tenryu here on WrestleMania 7. I think I just said that like 3 times. Demolition were a good tag team, even with the big man Crush. I mean, Mr. Fuji at their side. It doesn't get much better than that. It really doesn't. And a quick finish there. And out of nowhere, Katow and Tenryu defeat Demolition. This was one of the quicker matches. Again, 14 or 15 matches. But what an upset. Now, it wouldn't have happened to Axe and Smash, but it happens to Axe and Crush because the original 2 weren't losing to Katow and Tenryu. That was a huge upset right there by the 2 Japanese warriors from the land of the rising sun, from the Orient, if you will. And what I did happen to miss there for a second, let me just check it out here. I want you guys to bear with me, stay with me. I want to see how the actual cover went over. Let's just check it out as we wrap it up here. All 4 wrestlers are in the ring. Barry Darsow, the Repo Man, whatever, takes a savate kick to the back of the head by Tenryu. Katow misses with the clothesline. Tenryu takes over, sets up Barry Darsow. Boom! Big power slam, covers him with a pin, and that's how he pins him. Barry Darsow eats the pin. Axe eats the pin from Katow. Wow! I missed that for a second because I was talking to you guys. So that's how it went down for Tenryu and Katow to win over Demolition, managed by Fuji. And again, if it was the original Demolition, I don't think they would have lost this matchup. So I'm glad. That was smart that I rewound that, don't you think, guys? Don't go anywhere. You get to see the top of my head again. Stand by. As we go into the Big Boss Man, a.k.a. Ray Traylor, a.k.a. Big Bubba Rogers from Jim Crockett days, the bodyguard of Jim Cornette as he takes on with Bobby the Brain Heenan, Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig. Not too many better grapplers in the ring than Curt Hennig. So this was a matchup for the ages. Again, look at the characters. This is mid-card for WrestleMania 7, and you have Hall of Famers that are on mid-card compared to what goes on here in 2024. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Boss Man, Curt Hennig, WrestleMania 7. It doesn't get much better than this. And again, these are guys that are mid-carders at this point. Not main eventers, but Hall of Famers in reality as we look back on it now. Big Boss Man with a clothesline out of nowhere. Down goes Mr. Perfect. Think about, as I do these live-to-tape watch-alongs, over the top rope, Boss Man throws out Curt Hennig like yesterday's news. And I know I use that all the time. Would you prefer me say like today's garbage? Today is garbage day here at my place. Bobby Heenan trying to console Mr. Perfect. Boss Man was a large individual. His persona as Big Bubba Rogers was incredible. And then to be able to catch a break and become the Big Boss Man, a man lost way too early in life in his 40s, as the same thing with Curt Hennig, who had a serious back injury, and we lost in his 40s as well. Look at both these men have passed away since then, and of course the legendary Bobby the Brain Heenan is no longer with us. That's what we're watching here. Classic, priceless history of guys that are legends, Hall of Famers. That's what you get here when you go back to the golden era. And it wasn't all peaches and cream, like I said. But look at the guys that are mid-carders on here. Jake the Snake, Rick Martel, Superfly Snuka, The Undertaker's just starting out, Hammer Valentine, Earthquake, Dino Bravo, Kerry Von Erich, the British Bulldog, the Warlord, the Rockers, the Barbarian, Haku, LOD, Power and Glory. These guys are basically the middle level here. If you look at the main eventers, who's Slaughter and Hogan and the Warrior and Macho Man, and as tag teams, the Nasty Boys and the Hart Foundation, look at the depth, look at the rosters, look at the Hall of Famers. Now, 20 years from now, as we watch these AEW and WWE current pay-per-views, are there that many Hall of Famers that are mid-card guys? I mean, maybe times change. Who knows if we'll even be here. But that's the point of what I want to get to. As Mr. Perfect makes a comeback right now, Big Boss Man down on his knees, Hennig with the boots to the rib cage and knees to the rib cage, the big kicks. Over goes the Boss Man. Boss Man's in big trouble trying to cover up those ribs. I said rigs. What am I on, an oil rig down in Texas? Oh, both men back and forth with the right hands. Big boots by Curt Hennig. Taking over on the Boss Man, getting the better of the Boss Man in his corrections officer outfit. Far side, Irish rip into the ring post. Boss Man's in big trouble. This is part 3 of WrestleMania 7 live to tape watch along. Hennig with the knee to the lower back of the Boss Man, and then from behind choking him out, stretching him out, holding onto the ropes, getting extra leverage. That's why he was Mr. Perfect. From behind, using all that force, and then a boot to the lower back. Curt Hennig really was damn near perfect as a wrestler in the ring. There's no two ways about it. Boss Man, a much larger individual, although Hennig was no small guy. Boston Crab, when's the last time, an abdominal stretch. When's the last time you've seen anybody in this day and age use an abdominal stretch? Once in the last 10 years? Hennig stretching out the ligaments and the tendons of the Boss Man in the abdominal stretch. He has it slapped in, perfectly applied from Mr. Perfect. Again, guys, thanks for being here for all 3 parts of WrestleMania 7. And we're in the time machine, doing it old school. As you can see, there's the main event coming up. March 24th, 1991, Los Angeles, California. Over 16,000 fans as we look back at the priceless history of WrestleMania. Again, I'm trying to repeat it. I say it on every forum and every broadcast here. We're going to do as many of these watch-alongs. Again, if you till WrestleMania 40, and if you look at all the different matches, 13, 14, 15 matches, it's kind of like modern-day AEW. Think about it. Hennig with a 2 count on Big Boss Man. Bobby Heenan ringside. Gorilla Monsoon and Lord Alfred Hayes at this point in the booth. Big knife-edge chop by Curt Hennig. Boss Man trying to come back. Boss Man's in big trouble. Hennig has taken over at this point. Nice snap mare by Curt Hennig. Oh, and then jumps over and bends the neck the opposite way. Beautiful maneuver by flipping over on Curt Hennig. Mr. Perfect. Boss Man down on the apron. Looks like he's going to set him up for a suplex. Again, technically sound. There was nobody like Mr. Perfect. He's setting up the Big Boss Man. Oh, wait, he's going for the Perfect Plex. If he hits it, this could be over. Oh, reversal, small package by the Boss Man, too. Only a 2 count. Only a 2 count by Danny Davis. Heading off the far side. Oh, reverse neck breaker. Unbelievable. Somersault flipped over neck breaker by Mr. Perfect. Here's the cover on the Boss Man. You're not going to get the Boss Man that easy. Come on. You're just not. At this point, Boss Man had lost a lot of weight compared to his character, Big Bubba, when he was with the Midnight Express. Mr. Perfect up on the top rope, going into the high rent district. Boss Man laying in the middle of the ring. And here comes Mr. Perfect. Oh, and a big boot to the jib by the Boss Man. Heenan's beside himself. Boss Man selling that left arm, selling those ribs, selling the side of his, what do they call it? The serratus muscle. Into the corner. Face first into the turnbuckle, Curt Hennig, and that over-exaggerated rollover bump by Mr. Hennig. Curt Hennig, unbelievable. Beal toss, and over goes Curt Hennig. Boss Man outside of the ring. What are you doing, Boss Man? Wait, and he's going to nut post him. He's got Hennig by both sides of his legs. Here it is, across the ring post. Boom, that's my nutcracker. He's singing soprano. Boss Man rolls back in. Hennig still has legs between the ring posts. Trying to crawl back in, and Boss Man's going to bring him back in one way or another. Choking him out. Choking the snot out of Curt Hennig. And lefts, rights to the midsection. Boom, a big right to the jib, and over the top rope goes Curt Hennig. Boss Man lifted him up over the top rope with that right hand. Boss Man's out quick, chasing him down. Now he's going after the brain. He's going after the weasel. And out of nowhere, here comes Curt Hennig. That's what a manager's supposed to do, distract the opponent. And Hennig throws Boss Man face first into the steel ring steps. And then Heenan with a boot to the midsection, a couple of boots to the midsection. Traditional managers and what they bring to the table. And I'm going to continue to say it, and what's lost in today's industry and today's business of managers that were traditional and that could bump as well. And here comes the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 7. The Giant meandering to the ring. Heenan, his former manager. Andre, you could see he's a little debilitated, but he's still moving around pretty well. Going after the weasel, the brain, if you will. Andre walking around the ring. It's great to see the 8th wonder of the world, WrestleMania 7. How many of you still knew that Andre was here at WrestleMania 7? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? McFly? Hello? Andre the Giant has the Intercontinental Championship, I believe, in his hands, as Mr. Hennig is taking over on the Boss Man, but now he's distracted by the Giant, asking for his belt back. Hennig is asking for the belt back, being distracted. That's what Andre right now is equaling things out, well, and then some. Still meandering around the ring, going after the brain. Curt Hennig looking at Andre, demanding his belt back. Meanwhile, he's ignoring Ray Traylor, the Boss Man, who's laid out in the middle of the ring. Hennig in the beautiful singlet, the teal and black singlet, and as I said, Boss Man in the traditional corrections officer uniform. The brain giving advice to Mr. Perfect. And there's Andre on the other side, and now Heenan's kind of like agitating the Giant. Why would you agitate the Giant? Out of nowhere, Hennig tries to go after Andre the Giant, and Giant with a big right to the jib. Down goes Hennig. Down. What do you think? He could bitch slap you and knock out 3 guys. Hennig is laid out. Boss Man is laid out. Andre still walking and meandering and around the ring, as is the weasel, Brain Heenan. Backing up, selling off the brain. Oh, who wouldn't against Andre? Any 10 guys would sell off. Andre still meandering and walking and stalking after Bobby the Brain Heenan. Hennig is still out in the middle of the ring. Boss Man is up. Boss Man is up, trying to clear the cobwebs. Boss Man grabbing that second rope. He's on his knees. He's trying to get up. He sees that Andre is at ringside now. Heenan still trying to ward off the Giant. Here's the cover by Boss Man. He covers Hennig. 2. Throw. Oh, and Curt Hennig kicks up out of nowhere. Wait, and here comes Haku. Here comes the Barbarian. Now Haku and the Barbarian out of nowhere taking over on the Boss Man. Slapping the shit out of the Boss Man. It's 2-on-1 as Curt Hennig slides out of the ring. Big boot by the Barbarian on the Boss Man. Oh, and Andre the Giant gets his Curt Hennig outside. Head over heels with a right to the Ponzone, a right to the dome piece to the. And look, Andre with big chops on Curt Hennig outside. He's taking it to Curt Hennig. Boss Man coming back against the Barbarian and the War and Ming. It's fast and furious here. And now Andre taking on the Barbarian, taking on Ming. Chops. Head first into the ring post. Shoulder blocks. Andre kicking ass and taking names. Taking out Hennig. Taking out Ming. taking out the Barbarian. Disqualification, and Kurt Hennig retains the Intercontinental Championship here at WrestleMania 7. Bossman in the ring, hands risen. Disqualification. Andre the Giant still at ringside. Big Boss Man doesn't know what to make of this with the eighth wonder of the world. And now Andre walking off. Ming, Hennig, Barbarian, Bobby Heenan, persona non grata, and Andre's walking down the aisle. And here comes Boss Man out of nowhere. He taps Andre on the shoulder. The Giant turns around and Boss Man raises the hand of Andre the Giant. Andre raises the Boss Man's hand back, and the Giant and the Boss Man shake hands in the corridor. Wow. Andre the Giant and the Big Boss Man. It's always nice to see the Giant. WrestleMania 7, Chaos Corner. Don't go anywhere. We're only 20 minutes in. This is part 3, though. Part 3. Wow. Let's see what happens. Don't go anywhere. I don't want you guys to go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Let's see what goes on here. Pardon the dome piece. You guys get it. Here we go to Earthquake and Typhoon. Unbelievable. This is the next matchup. And there's Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing a young Donald Trump from 1991. Look at the head of hair on the Trumpster in 1991. That's right. Well, don't ban me, YouTube. It's 1991 World Wrestling Federation. The Fonz, Henry Winkler is there. Chuck Norris is there. Alex Trebek is there. Everybody's brother, mother's uncles. Willie Nelson is there. And a young Donald Trump, the future president. Well, at least from there, in 1991, he ended up being the future president. Am I right? Wow. It's all about the pageantry, the extravaganza, the bonanza here of WrestleMania 7 with all the stars. Los Angeles, California, what did you expect? And coming out is Earthquake and Typhoon. And if you haven't seen the AEW, A&E documentaries, not AEW, A&E documentaries, they just had one out on Earthquake, on John Tenta. An incredible man, a humble man, one legit badass. I do believe that the documentary they had on A&E with John Tenta was unbelievable. As a matter of fact, it might have been Dark Side of the Ring. There was nothing dark about John Tenta, Earthquake. It was a great story, a touching story, and he apparently was a great man coming from a quality, great family. So rest in peace, John Tenta, Earthquake. Go out and check that out on Dark Side, which probably didn't belong on Dark Side. It was more of a documentary. And there's the Incredible Hulk. Lou Ferrigno is ringside as well. You can't make it up here at WrestleMania 7 in Los Angeles, California. Hey, and there's the Trumpster and Mean Gene Okerlund again. So here we go. Greg the Hammer Valentine is in the ring. Earthquake, John Tenta, being escorted by Typhoon, the biggest tag team in the world of pro wrestling at the time, and perhaps ever. So here we go, one-on-one, collar and elbow. Earthquake, a.k.a. John Tenta, and Greg the Hammer Valentine, WrestleMania 7 here on Chaos Corner. Live to tape watch along, review if you will, and thanks for being here. Tenta, huge man, what, about 6'4", about 400 and something pounds, was an unbelievable, legit badass in the world of sumo wrestling. Again, that documentary was unbelievable. I can't stress enough to go out and watch it. And here's the Earthquake, picking up Valentine, as I've said all night tonight, like a mere child. Big power slam, and Tenta with his 400 pounds lands on top of the Hammer. Unbelievable. Here's the cover, here's the pin. You're not going to get a Hall of Famer Greg Valentine like that. Although any normal man would have been pinned by then by John Tenta, a.k.a. the Earthquake. You know, who went on to be many other things besides a sumo. They ruined him with Golga, so on and so forth. Didn't treat him the right way, but he was one incredible human being, the Earthquake. Big chops, knife-edge chops by the Hammer, trying to take it too. Elbow smashes to the top of the dome piece of the Earthquake. Here we go, do-si-do, fans, don't go anywhere. Let's see what we got here. Far side, Irish whip. Oh, Valentine taking it to Earthquake. I've never seen Earthquake that haven't taken it to him like this. Trying to set him up for the figure four. He didn't get it locked in. Jimmy Hart trying to interfere. He interferes. Valentine goes down. Big clothesline by Tenta. Stomps around him. Here we go. Far side. The other side of the ropes. There it is. The avalanche. The Earthquake. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. Bang. 1, 2, 3. And there's the pin. Earthquake. John Tenta. The avalanche. Whatever you want to call him. With the pin over the Hammer. Wow! That was a quick matchup. Two Hall of Famers, two legends, and with that little son of a bitch, that fly, Jimmy Hart. And look, as he does, as he stomps around, as the earthquake stomps around, the other far side of the ropes, goes to do the big sit-out splash on Valentine again. And Valentine, the savvy veteran, smart enough to roll away and roll out. Your winner, WrestleMania 7, the earthquake over the hammer. Wow. That's all I could say is wow. And you know, wow spelled backwards is wow. And now coming up, we have Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom. Oh, what a rush. The Road Warriors for all you Neo-Maxi Zoom dweebies. That's right. That's what's coming up as they're shown backstage with Sean Mooney. It's Animal and Hawk. Was there anybody badder, more legit? To me, the greatest tag team in pro wrestling history as they take on Power and Glory, Hercules Hernandez and Pretty Paul Roma, who was our head trainer down at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. That's right, Pretty Paul Roma at WrestleMania 7. Power and Glory, Hercules and Roma against the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. Now, this wasn't one of their finer matches. This was basically a squash, but Power and Glory, what an incredible tag team. Should have been World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions. You know Roma's background, Four Horsemen, pretty wonderful. Power and Glory, Young Stallions, unbelievable. Our head trainer at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, that's right. And here comes Animal and Hawk. Power and Glory, certainly underrated. Didn't get the push they deserved, but two incredible athletes. To me, Hall of Famers. Listen, for all the people that are in the Hall of Fame, and then you look at these athletes, they belong there as well. It's just the facts. Legion of Doom, best tag team in the history. Look at this, Roma and Hernandez out of nowhere, and there's Herc with the chains. That's right, just like the G.O.C. Roma and Hercules taking over on Hawk, double teaming him, rights, lefts, forearm shivers. Hawk, far side, back elbows, missed by Roma. Front clothesline, missed by Roma and Hercules. Double clothesline by Hawk. Down goes Roma, down goes Hercules. Hawk was huge. Now all four men in the ring. Animal on Roma. Roma with the beautiful double eye rake on Animal. Hercules dumps Hawk over the top rope. Roma picks up Animal. Big body slam. Hercules and Hawk fighting outside. Roma to the top rope. Oh, and he goes to give the flying body press to Animal. Animal catches him midair. Power slam. Down goes Roma. What a beautiful power slam by Animal. Now there's Hawk up to the top turnbuckle. Animal picks up Roma, going for the Doomsday Device. Hawk off the top rope. Clothesline. Roma head over heels. Here's the pin by Animal. Animal has Roma. 3 count, and it's over. Persona non grata. The Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, over Power and Glory, Hernandez and Roma. Wow, in quick fashion. Holy cramoly, the Doomsday Device. Wow, that was fast, that was quick. Again, the Road Warriors, to me, the best tag team in the world, best tag team in pro wrestling history. Rest in peace, Warrior. Rest in peace, Hawk. Rest in peace, Animal. Rest in peace, Macho Man. Rest in peace for all the legends that are on this show at WrestleMania 7, 1991. And there they go. Exit stage left. For as quick as they came into LOD, they made short work of Power and Glory. Move on to the next bout, WrestleMania 7. Here on Guardian of Chaos on Chaos Corner. Coming up, it's the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and his feud with his former cohort, his butler, whatever it is you want to call him, who just recently passed away. Rest in peace, Virgil. He had quite a run, had quite longevity. Say what you want about him. And DiBiase, every man has his price. He had his own legal troubles as well, but this was one heck of a feud back in the day. And DiBiase, perhaps one of the greatest workers of all time. Rowdy Roddy Piper is your special guest referee, and it's the grudge match. Virgil, that's right. Mike Johnson, I believe, Mike Jones, against the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. WrestleMania 7 with Piper as the special guest referee. Back and forth, DiBiase and Virgil. We're going to try to go through this fast. Roddy Piper, ringside. In and out. DiBiase, the much better grappler. Obviously, Virgil was nothing but a gimmick, just like they called him Vince in WCW for a shot at Vince McMahon. They called him Virgil in the WWF for a shot at Dusty Rhodes. If you guys don't know that, go out and duck, go it. not going to be like every other jabroni. Go out and go Google it. That's not my saying or my phrase. Go duck, duck, go it. And you'll find out all the history here. As DiBiase laying it in to Virgil, really pounding him out, putting the boots to him. Roddy Piper involved with the crutch. Roddy Piper hits DiBiase with the crutches. What's going on here? DiBiase taking over on Virgil. He's putting him into the form of the sleeper hold, what Sergeant Slaughter does. He's got him. Piper with the injured knee. Piper with the cane at ringside. Virgil's about ready to tap out. DiBiase has it locked in. The old Cobra Clutch a la Sergeant Slaughter. What's DiBiase doing the Cobra Clutch? They're ringing the bell. This could be over. Piper's in the ring. He's got the crutchers. An injured Roddy Piper. What are you doing? He was at ringside. Danny Davis is the referee. Piper is not the special guest referee. And there's Piper with the crutches. Bang! Across the shoulder blades of the $1 Million Man. Down goes DiBiase. Down goes DiBiase. The bell has already rung. Here comes Sherry Martel. She's been there twice so far tonight. Sherry grabs the cane from Roddy Piper. She went from Queen Sherry to Sensational Sherry. DiBiase out of nowhere with the clothesline. Down goes an injured Piper. And now Sherry and DiBiase taking over on an injured Roddy Piper. DiBiase made short work of Virgil, Vince, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Choked him out, tapped him out. Well, I don't even know if he tapped him out. He certainly choked him out. Disqualified, whatever. Here comes all the referees. Sherry and DiBiase just laying the boots to Roddy Piper. Wow, it's pandemonium. It's chaos. Now DiBiase's taking out the referees. Sensational Sherry. She went from Queen Sherry with the Macho Man to Sensational Sherry with DiBiase. That's a manager coming out twice in one night, getting involved, taking the fucking bumps. Sherry was like one of the guys. Still laying into Piper with that crutches. $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. It's really out of control here at WrestleMania 7. This bout between Virgil and DiBiase with Piper at ringside. Now Virgil back to his feet. He's grabbed the crutches. He's swinging around. He's going for the home run. Woo, that one is out of here. DiBiase and Sensational Sherry exit stage left. Now Piper's beside himself. Was there any better character than Roddy Piper? He's one of the best. This is what you got here. Priceless history. WrestleMania 7. Don't go anywhere, fans. We still have a ways to go. Thank you guys for being here. We're 30 minutes in here on part 3 of WrestleMania 7. Wow. That match, again, so many matches. Short, quick, fast. Coming up, it's going to be Sheik Adnan Al-KC or Colonel Mustafa, whatever the fuck they called him here in 1991, and heel Sergeant Slaughter during the Gulf War and all the controversy that this called. And then the fall, kayfabe made up security measures so the WWF couldn't go to the Memorial Coliseum. What a bunch of shit that was. Tito Santana and the Mountie here on WrestleMania 7. We're going to fast forward to this. Arriba! Tito Santana and Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie. Quick pin-up, quick roll-up. Jacques Rougeau, along with Jimmy Hart, with a quick roll-up on Tito Santana. This match went 2 or 3 minutes. Your winner at WrestleMania 7, Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie, over Arriba, the Hall of Famer, Tito Santana. We're going to the main event. The incredible, the immortal Hulk Hogan, the stars and bars, the red, white, and blue, back here still in 1991, before his career started taking a turn down and downfall into 92 and the whole storyline with Ric Flair and the real world championship. That's what WrestleMania 7 led into, the Hogan and Flair feud, the Macho Man and Hogan, superpowers, mega powers, and then of course Hogan going to WCW and forming the NWO. So just to give you a little history, I know you guys know this, but this is what we bring here to the channel. So as we listen to the Hulkster, well, we're not really listening to the Hulkster. Sergeant Slaughter, the Hulkster, and remember now at this time, Slaughter is the World Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion at this time. I want you guys to remember that and let that sink in. Let me adjust here what's going on so you guys know exactly what's going on. Bear with me. Bear with me, fans. Bear with me as I move and adjust the Oakleys. We're coming out of the Mountie over Tito Santana. And again, I can't stress enough here at WrestleMania 7 that Hogan was not the champion. Slaughter was the champion. And you remember the whole feud, and again, I'm not trying to get into politics, but we're going through this again, during the Gulf War and everything and all the controversy that this caused. So I just want you guys to remember the historical preference here of WrestleMania 7, and that's why I jumped onto this and went ahead as the rest of the podcast world, the IWC, whatever you want to call it, is going chronologically leading into WrestleMania 40. So here we go. The main event, we're 35 minutes in. Let me adjust here. The main event for the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, the defending champion, Sergeant Slaughter, with Colonel Mustafa, Sheik Adnan Al-King, whatever the fuck you want to call him, against Hulk Hogan. The pageantry, what's going on here, and what's going to happen here in the main event. You see that bitch is quiet now, right? I have such heat with that bitch. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. Here we go. The main event. Thank you guys for being here. We're 35 minutes in. We're going to keep all 3 parts under an hour. WrestleMania 7 review, live to tape, watch along. Part 1 was under an hour. Part 2 was under an hour. We're at 36 minutes now going into the main event, and this will be under an hour. So where else can you get this kind of content? Who's pumping it out like the G.O.C? Here it is, fans. The main event, WrestleMania 7, and you're with the G.O.C. I hope you're enjoying it. The bell has rung. They're circling each other. Hogan and Slaughter for the historical preference here at WrestleMania 7. Over 16,000, Los Angeles, California. Ah, that was good. Here we go. Both men sizing each up. Hogan was in tremendous shape. Now, Slaughter is no small guy. He's every bit of 6'4" at a minimum, 260 pounds, 270 pounds. I mean, I don't know his actual logistics. Now, we know Hogan, they listed him as 6'10", 6'11". We know that wasn't it. He's about 6'7", 6'8", close to 300 pounds. Beautiful collar and elbow. Both men rolling along the ropes. Slaughter, Hogan. Main event, WrestleMania 7. G.O.C, Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Locking up in the corner, ref trying to get in between them. It's that weasel Hebner. I know I keep using that towards Heenan and Jimmy Hart and Hebner, but it applies to all 3 of them. 3 of a kind that'll beat any full house. Hebner in between Hogan and Slaughter. Again, lockup. These guys are really cinching it in. Slaughter and Hogan. Now Hogan pushes Slaughter head over heels after that lockup. Hogan, obviously, the much stronger and larger individual, but you got to give the savviness and veteran experience to the Sarge at this point in their careers. And we know Sarge went on to be just about Vince's personal bodyguard leading into the Montreal screw job, and then an agent and a producer for all these years, even into 2024. Beautiful side headlock by Hogan. Ties up the Slaughter, rings it in, locks it up, and twists it out. That's what you're supposed to do for the side headlock. Wrenching it down, amping it up as Hogan is just trying to ring. That's how you get the cauliflower ears in pro wrestling. Slaughter backs him to the ropes. Far side goes Hogan. Big shoulder block, but Slaughter only backs up a few feet. Do it again, he says. Do it again. Drop down, step over. Big shoulder block by Hogan, and Slaughter once again head over heels into the ropes. But Hogan backing off. I know you're the face. I know you're the Hulkster. But you're backing off here instead of getting all over Slaughter. I'm calling you out. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Slaughter rolls out to his manager. Again, another old school manager. You see them all here in the WrestleManias. To gain his wits. Hogan doing a smart thing. For once. Chasing him out there. Big right to the proboscis and the chin and the jib of Sergeant Slaughter. Out of nowhere comes Colonel Mustafa, Sheik Adnan. The double axe handle to the back of Hogan. Hogan turns his attention to the Sheik, to Adnan, to the Colonel, to the General, which gives Slaughter the chance to grab a chair. Coming up from behind on Hogan. Boom! Right across the shoulder blades. Hogan no sells. Hogan no sells the chair shot from the Sarge. Sarge backing off. Hogan with the old finger wag. Chasing Slaughter. He grabs Slaughter. Rolls him back into the ring. Hogan slides into the ring. Slaughter trying to roll away from Hogan. trying to beg off. Slaughter on his knees begging off. There's no timeouts in wrestling, Sergeant Slaughter. Who at this point, you were a piece of shit traitor. Oh, big double thumb to the eyes by Slaughter on Hulk Hogan, who just walked into the corner nonchalantly, and that's what happens. In the corner, Slaughter, big right hand to the jib of Hulk Hogan. Another right to the side of the temple, knocking off that equilibrium if you've ever been hit inside of the temple. Now face first into the turnbuckle. Slaughter saw his opportunity, and with his underhanded, dirty, despicable tactics, that's what you're supposed to do if you want to win, if you want to retain the championship, if you want to get the purse. That's what you do. Slaughter right now. Far side, off the ropes goes Hogan. Big back elbow by Slaughter, and down goes Hogan. Slaughter in the traditional fatigues, the brown khakis, the military fatigues, the camouflage upper, the tight shirt with the black singlet. Hogan in the typical yellow boots, yellow trunks, and red knee pads, dropping the big knees across the throat of Hogan is Sergeant Slaughter. Remember now, Slaughter here is the champion, and he's a heel, obviously. Goes to drop the big elbow. Hogan moves out of the way, back to his feet very fast, and the old finger wag again. Calling Slaughter up. The trademark right hands by Hogan. Slaughter, far side, off the ropes. Big clothesline by Hogan. Down goes the Sarge. Down goes Sergeant Slaughter. You traitor, you son of a bitch. Hogan with a right to the jib, and down goes the Colonel, the General. Slaughter goes for the double axe handle. No, boot to the Labans by Hogan. Then an irate by Hogan himself. Irish whip into the corner goes Slaughter, followed by a back elbow by Hogan. Slaughter down at the bottom of the turnbuckle, hanging over the ropes. Hogan grabbing him by the back of his pants. Going to pick him up for the big atomic knee drop, and there it is. Hogan connects. Here's the cover. Hooks the leg. 2 count on the Sarge. I don't like to call him the Sarge because that makes me think that he's a face when he's not, because here he's a heel. I'll call him Slaughter. Now, I don't know why Hogan is raking his nails across the back. You can't get it. This Sarge is wearing a singlet. He's wearing his shirt underneath the singlet. What the fuck are you doing, Hogan? Pay attention. Back into the ring. Hogan takes Slaughter. Far side off the ropes. Big elbow by Hogan across the dome piece of Slaughter. Down goes Slaughter. Here's the cover. I'll be surprised. Hogan hooking the leg 2 pins in a row. Only a 2 count on the Sarge. Hogan actually hooking the leg. Who knew? Hogan slamming Slaughter face first into the turnbuckle. Again, going from pillar to post and coast to coast. Oh, and he goes over the turnbuckle. He may have hit the ring post. Actually hit the ring post, Slaughter. Let's see. Rolling around, writhing in pain as Hogan stalks him. Get on him, Hogan, if you want the championship. Irish whip to the far side. Out comes Slaughter. Big back body drop by the Hulkster. The main event, WrestleMania 7. Slaughter's in big trouble as Hogan just stalks over him. Gets him back to his feet, and then those trademark right hands by the Hulkster to the jib, to the dome piece, to the forearm, to the forehead, to the jawline. Face first. Into the turnbuckle goes the Sarge, chest first. Irish whip the opposite way. Big knee to the lower back, and then Slaughter goes into the turnbuckle. Down goes Slaughter. Down goes Slaughter. Down goes the champ. Hogan set him up. What's he going to do? A monkey flip? A Boston Crab? What's Hogan trying to do here? Big monkey flip over the turnbuckle. Into the ring post goes Slaughter. Slaughter's on Queer Street. He's reeling. He's on his heels. He's in big trouble. The Hulkster now mounting the Sarge and laying in the right hands. That's a closed fist, Rep. It's a closed fist. It's a closed fist. What are you doing? There's no closed fists. What are you doing, Sheik, Colonel, Admiral, whatever, Mustafa? You're there to protect Slaughter. Some of these managers dropping the ball. I wouldn't have done it. Hogan just pounding Slaughter from pillar to post at this point. Hammering the champion. Far side. Follows in with a big clothesline by the Hulkster. Slaughter in big trouble, as I keep saying here. He's in big trouble right now. This is the main event. We're 44 minutes in here on WrestleMania 7. Part 3. Hogan got Slaughter in the corner. Mounting him He's on top of he's on the second ring rope. Laying in those right hands. Listen to the crowd. I don't know if you can hear him between that bitch and between my commentary. I got heat with her. You know that, right? Hogan, again, pillar to post, corner to corner, just hammering Slaughter. Here's the cover. He hooks the leg again. 3 times, 3 pin attempts, and the Hulkster has hooked the leg every time. Who knew, for all you goons that talk about his technical ability? It's a joke, man. It's kayfabe, man. Hogan to the second rope. Slaughter getting up to his feet. Hogan's on the second rope. Goes for the double axe handle. He misses, and the Sarge hits him in the bond zone. But Hogan out of nowhere with a rake to the face, picks up the Slaughter, big body slam on Slaughter, drops the elbow on Slaughter. Hogan with his second elbow on the champ. Hogan now taking his attention away from Slaughter. What are you doing? He's being distracted. Hogan's getting out of the ring right now. What are you doing, Hogan? Going to the high rent district. This is not your move. You don't do this. This is not what you do. Why are you going back up to the top, Hogan? You're a ground grappler. And Colonel Mustafa holding his leg. And there's the Sarge back to his feet. Picks up Hogan from the turnbuckle. Big body slam. Head over heels goes Hogan. Hogan's in trouble now. Mistake 101, Hulk. Mistake 101. What were you doing? You had the pin, but you wanted to go to the top rope. Happens here in 1991, too. Wouldn't have happened if I was out there. Predetermined or not. And there's the big clothesline by the Sarge. And over the top rope goes the Hulkster. Hogan out on the floor. Slaughter's going out after him fast. Main event, WrestleMania 7. Los Angeles, California. Hogan shoulder first into the ring post. And there's Vlad, the one and only Vlad, the super fan. Check out the documentary. I can't say it enough. The steel chair with Slaughter across the back of the shoulder blades of Hogan. And again, he's pounding him with that chair. The second shot to the lower back. Hogan is laid out outside of the ring as Slaughter stalks him. Slaughter now grabbing the TV cable, and he's going to choke out the Hulkster. Slaughter's choking Hogan out with the cable from the cameras. That's right, they had cables on cameras in 1991. Choking him out, laying it in. Slaughter on top of Hogan, sucking the wind and the life out of the Hulkster. And the Hebner is trying to give the count. I don't know what you're doing here, Hebner. Is this a no disqualification championship match? Not a champ, has Hogan. Slaughter rolls him back into the ring after choking him out. Now would be the time for Slaughter, if he wants to retain his belt, to pin Hogan. Now would be the time. Instead, he's telling him, get up. Get up. I wouldn't be telling you to get up. I'd be pounding you down. Slaughter with a big forearm shiver to the lower back. Another forearm to the shoulder blades. Slaughter with a double axe handle to the back of Hulk Hogan. At least he's working on that lower back. Hogan's in the corner. Slaughter stalking him. Forearm shivers to that lower back. To the kidneys, to the liver. Wow. Wow, I have to get a better vantage point on this one. Stay tuned, fans. Don't go anywhere. In the main event, Slaughter picks up Hogan. Big backbreaker by Slaughter on the Hulkster. Here's the cover. And the Slaughter hooks the leg. Almost a 3 count. Almost had a 3 count by Slaughter. He thinks he's got a 3 count, but I'll tell you different because Hogan kicked up on that. And you know I tell it like it is. Slaughter arguing with Hebner right now instead of going over to dish out more punishment on the former champion. Oh, maybe he heard me, because now he's putting the boots to Hogan. Here it is. Slaughter putting the boots to Hogan. This dude telling him, get up. What are you doing? Don't tell him to get up. Keep pounding him down. Predetermined or not, this is how you do it in pro wrestling, regular wrestling, a street fight. You don't be telling people to get up. What do you think this is, a movie? You take advantage of it. The physicality cannot be made up in this sport. Remember that for all you non-believers out there who think I'm nuts. Slaughter, what's he going to go for, a monkey flip himself? A Boston Crab? What's he going to do? Slaughter is trying to turn over the large body of Hulk Hogan into a Boston Crab. He has him over. He's got it over. Slaughter's got it. He's sitting down. He's applying the pressure on the lower back. Hogan's in big trouble. You would think I was watching this for the first time, wouldn't you? Even though it was back in 1991, the motivation, desire, the passion that comes across. This is what you get here. Entertainment fucking personified. still has that Boston Crab cinched in on the Hulkster. Hogan's near the ropes. Ring awareness. Grab that rope. Hogan, you're right there. You're 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". Grab the fucking rope. What are you doing? Ring awareness. Goes to show you even the immortals, the Hall of Famers, the champions sometimes don't always understand what the fuck is going on. And I apologize for the cussing. I really don't mean to cuss. I don't have to cuss to get over. It just happens. Oh, Hogan finally, he must have heard me. He grabbed the ropes. Ring awareness. Break the hold. Wait, and Slaughter thinks he's won. He thinks that Hogan tapped out. Slaughter's trying to celebrate. Hebner's telling him no, he didn't tap out. He grabbed the ropes. Slaughter back to action. Again, smart, picking out that body part, working on the lower back, dropping a knee, forearm shivers, staying on top of Hogan. This is what you do if you want to retain your championship, Slaughter. At this point, you were a despicable, disgusting human being. You were a piece of goo personified. Traitor, storyline or not. Slaughter taking his time as Hogan is prone in the fucking middle of the ring. And now Slaughter wants to go to the top rope. Slaughter wants to go to the high rent district. Two guys that are ground workers and both of them going to the top rope. This is not what you do. Slaughter off the top rope, but he lands the boot on the lower back. I'll give him credit. What are you doing, Slaughter? But it worked. I questioned it, but it worked. Colonel Mustafa is up on the ring apron. I don't know why. Slaughter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Slaughter had a 12 count, wrapped Hogan up, hooked the leg, and had a 12 count for a pin just now as Hebner was being distracted by Colonel Mustafa, who's supposed to be there for Slaughter. Slaughter should have retained this championship. He pinned Hogan for a 12 count, a legitimate 12 count just now at WrestleMania 7. Slaughter rolls out of the ring, grabs that steel chair, hits Hogan in the dome piece. Hogan's in big trouble. Now Slaughter's going for the pin again. He already pinned him. He should have won already. 1, 2. Hogan kicks up. Slaughter, you had your chance. Your manager fucked it up for you. You ought to call him out even though it's 30, 40 years later. Now Slaughter laying in and on Hogan. Hogan is busted open. Hogan is busted open. He's a bloody crimson mask pouring from his forehead. Hogan has been busted open at WrestleMania 7 by Sergeant Slaughter. The main event for the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship. Slaughter defending against Hogan and now laying in the right hands, opening up Hogan. Blood spurting everywhere here at WrestleMania 7. Hogan is reeling for sure. Far side. Oh, that big left short clothesline by Slaughter. The cannon, as he calls it, on Hogan. And down goes the Hulkster. Wow. A pretty solid main event for who the two workers were. And now set him up for the camel clutch. Slaughter's putting Hogan into the camel clutch a la the Iron Sheik. Slaughter has it in. He's got it cinched back. Hogan is pouring with blood. Slaughter's shaking, rocking, rolling. Slaughter trying to choke out Hogan in the camel clutch. Is Hogan going to give up here at WrestleMania 7? Look at the blood pouring out of Hogan. Slaughter releases the hold. Double knees to the lower back. Boots to the back. Slaughter stomping a Mississippi mud hole. Or La Brea Tar Pits mud hole. We're in Los Angeles on Hulk Hogan. He's back into the camel clutch, laying it back. The pressure on the third vertebrae of the lower lumbar region must be beyond belief right now for Hogan as Slaughter's sitting back and wrenching it back here. Part 3 of the WrestleMania 7 watch-along here on Chaos Corner. Hebner's ready to call for the bell. Hebner's ready to call for the bell. Hogan looks like he's ready to tap. Slaughter still has that camel clutch locked in. It's locked in, but no. You guys know. Hogan getting to his feet. Hogan coming to his feet. A bloody mess. Slaughter's on his back. You got to give the intestinal fortitude, the cojones to Hogan. No matter what you say about him as a person, you can't take away what he did for the business. Oh, front first bump. Slaughter pushes Hogan face first into the turnbuckle. Hogan's down again. Slaughter's leaning up against the apron, and now he's going for the flag. He spat on Hulk Hogan, and he's laying I don't know what flag that is. He's trying to cover Hogan. A 2 count. Hogan kicks up. Slaughter goes head over heels. The ref goes head over heels. Hogan's taking that flag, the Middle Eastern flag. He's trying to rip it in half. He's ripped it in half. It's a red and white flag with green stars on it. Now Slaughter laying it in on Hogan, a bloody mess. Hogan amping up. He's hulking up. That's all we could say is hulking up. He's shaking. He's going around the ring. He's shaking. He's doing it. He's come on. He's hulking up. The fans are behind him. No, you. Hogan doing the Hogan on Slaughter. Slaughter backing off as Hogan's pointing at him. The right hand misses, blocks Hogan with the right hand. A second right hand, a third right hand, a left, a right, far side. Off the ropes goes Slaughter. Big boot to the jib. Down goes the Sarge. Far side, big leg drop. Here's the cover. Hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Your new World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, regaining the belt. The immortal, the incredible Hulk Hogan defeats Sergeant Slaughter in the main event of WrestleMania 7. Holy bejesus. A bloodied Hulk Hogan is once again your World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion. Wow. Not a bad main event. Overall, not a bad card. Underrated in the big history and story of the WrestleManias leading into WrestleMania 40. Fans, I can't thank you enough for being here. This has been a lot of fun, and I kept it again to under an hour here on part 3. Hogan in the ring with the gold, now strapping it around his waist, bloodied all over his chest, his face into the yellow trunks. Your new World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, as I said, the incredible Hulk Hogan over Sergeant Slaughter. Wow. Fans, I can't thank you enough for being here. As he grabs Old Glory, USA, USA. Let's hope we get back there someday soon. Hold the line, fight back. Fans, thanks for being here. Watch all 3 parts. Come on back to Chaos Corner. The content is flowing. And I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Don't you dare miss it.